Did you catch that spider guy yet?
No, but we will. This guy wears a mask like an outlaw.
I think he's trying to do something maybe the police can't.
Can't?
Hey guys, Cash here. It's time to web sling into another movie review. This time I'm going to be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb. So a lot of people probably known so much as Tobey Maguire, who played Peter Parker obviously in Spider-Man. The first 3 films from Sam Raimi raised their eyebrows when Sony announced that The Amazing Spider-Man was going to be a reboot rather than a sequel. Everyone was confused, and I was confused myself. So what I want to say is, what's the point? Someone who saw Raimi's Spider-Man at age 10 still isn't legally an adult. So it's not as if it needed to be redone or updated for a new generation. Nevertheless, as faithful to the comic books, all 4 Spider-Man films walk the line like a drunk taking a sobriety test. In the reboot from Mark Webb, he's the guy that directed 500 Days of Summer, gets the job because his name is Webb. Peter isn't a freelance photographer for the Daily Bugle. There's no sputtering J.J. Jonah Jameson, and while the monstrous villain like a lizard is not the chameleon from the first comic book, so the reboot isn't exactly a set for the record straight attempt either. Otherwise, though there have been advances in the CGI, the action scenes and the first 3 films weren't bad enough to warrant an overhaul, so why a reboot? Well, you're probably thinking maybe Sony drew an inspiration from a Christopher Nolan's reboot of Batman, with Nolan wading into the waters made murky by Michael Keaton, into Tim Burton's Batman, Val Kilmer's Batman Forever, and George Clooney's shitty Batman and Robin, and pallying off with Christian Bale in his own darker direction. So this movie's taking a little bit of the darker tone. That's kind of what this feels like to me, or at least an attempt to be darker. Peter Parker, while not delinquent, has a bad boy streak in him that's evident. Even though he's bullied at school, he'll stand up to the bullies because he's no doubt seen Cool Hand Luke or rebel without a cause. Andrew Garfield's Parker is more brooding, more reckless, less wholesome than wide-eyed, but his sarcasm does come closer to the wisecracking comic book hero than Maguire ever managed to me. And how many rebels is he? Garfield's Parker doesn't even care if people see him without a mask. He's unmasking himself so many times in this movie. So while I approached this film as everyone else did, with skepticism, I found myself quickly thinking that Webb's reboot, though not the complete retooling that Nolan's Batman Begins was still an enjoyable superhero action film in my opinion. Other people may have a different opinion, but Garfield is engaging in the title role, and you can't do any better for the boy's aunt and uncle than veterans Sally Fields and Martin Sheen. It adds an interesting dimension to have Dennis Leary playing Police Captain Stacy, Gwen's disapproving dad, and to have Rhys Ifans, if I'm pronouncing that right, supplying both backstory, soon-to-be nemesis, as the former research partner of genetic mutation scientist called Richard Parker, aka Peter Parker's dad, who disappeared when he was just a 4-year-old. We see less of Parker in a school and more of him as Spider-Man in this reboot, which I highly enjoyed. While Mary Jane Watson, the character played by Kirsten Dunst in Raimi's version, doesn't appear at all, the emphasis of all on Peter I sound like Pecker from Bruce Campbell in the 3rd movie. Parker's evolution into becoming a superhero is faithfully his relationship with Gwen Stacy, aka Emma Stone. Webb gets carried away with the web stringing through jungle scenes, and it grows a little tiresome once he's already established that Garfield's Parker is that kind of guy who'd jump off a building trusting his web shooter will work, and if not, oh well, he's screwed. Those long sequences, especially one that serves as the epilogue, border on the tenderness and actually slow the film down despite the action. And let's talk about that. The battle between Spider-Man and the Lizard is okay, but at Larry's character quips, "Do I look like a mayor of Tokyo as monsters go?" This one seems uninspired with a face that looks more like the Thing in a rage of motion that doesn't push the envelope enough beyond the Lizards or Ray Harshen's Ymir. Still, the story of Andrew Garfield engaging, there's some nifty CGI work to create the lizard transformations, in my opinion. And apart from the whole slowdowns, The Amazing Spider-Man is a respectable entry into the Marvel superhero genre, in my opinion, again, which is maybe why, and the way Stan Lee in his customary cameo was in such a high spirit, tripping out every cheery music while he was putting the books away in the library. It will be interesting to see where Webb and his writers take The Amazing Spider-Man 2, in which the pre-production now scheduled for 2014 release, and we all know that's going to be Electro. The video, one surprise is that aren't more break than the plain objects coming to you. I mean, you think that with all the web action, a few more would make the audience duck or wince, but that's not the case. In fact, there is nearly as much depth and field in the 2D Blu-ray edition that came out. That said, the level of detail is superb in my opinion, in both formats, and there are no reveals to be found in close-ups. That is, no CGI or makeup secrets exposed to the audience. The strongest scenes in 3D are the web-swinging, non-slinging scenes. As for the MVC MPG-4 transfer to 50 gigabytes disc, I saw no serious concerns. There was a brief stoppage at one point and one slight episode of banding, but other than that, guys, the transfer was a good one. Same with the AVS MP4 transfer on the 2D Blu-ray. Sorry I'm getting a little technical, but I just wanted to explain that. The Amazing Spider-Man is presented in 2 hours and 40 minutes on widescreen. The audio, another surprise that Sony didn't go with the 7.1 soundtrack, offering instead English dub. That said, I like the soundtrack, I like the beginning, I like the different feel to it. So, and the extra features, so many releases have gone with fewer bonus features that it's almost startling to encounter one that includes a second Blu-ray disc full of supplementary materials. There are really too many to describe. Let's start with a summary of what here in the 3D disc of the film. A 2D disc as a DVD, a second Blu-ray disc for full extras, and a UV copy and attractive packaging with a 3D cover. And the disc house are plastic pages inside. It's pretty cool. I own the Blu-ray version and I got the 3-disc version. So with that being said, the big feature is a close to 2-hour, 7-part documentary that discusses all the aspects of the drawing board, the development of the movie, and the choice of Webb's decisions making the reboot part of the Raimi series. Apart from the Raimi series, I'm sorry. Second skin Spidey suit, the Lizard talks about the costume design and the characters, as well as the production in Los Angeles. Also included, there's another 40-minute documentary of storyboards, and 15 of them are 4 progression reels that show all the CGI scenes and how they were composed. I really enjoyed that. Bottom line, to me, The Amazing Spider-Man isn't dramatically a revision as Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, but it's as good as Raimi's first Spider-Man film, in my opinion, and darker. It's taking a darker tone, while still being tongue-in-cheek. That's a tough tone to master, everyone. I mean, I give this movie a B+, just for the fact that Mark Webb did something different instead of the Raimi series. So, I'd give this movie, out of 5 stars, 4.5 stars. B+. Hope you guys enjoyed my movie review. It's time to web sling out of here, guys. Until next time, this has been Cash with another movie review. Please subscribe. Gladly appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Who are you? Spider-Man.